We now get underway with the Junior Rotax final here on Sunday, and this is your starting order. Following on from a significant amount of post-race penalties, it's going to be Lebanon's Christopher El Faghali on pole position. Joining him on the front row will be from the Netherlands, Mitchell van Dijk, Matej Radenkovic and Boluet making an all-Belgian row 2. Krit Knoren and Thomas Behrman will be on row 3. Casper Schrommens and Timo Jungling row 4 with Mika van der Pavert and Armand Hamilton rounding out the top 10 positions. Boaz Maximov and Tino Sidler will be on row 6. Row 7, Ryan Bourguignon and Lucas Sells representing France. Archie Buttle from Great Britain and Tom Sörler from Latvia. Row 8. Row 9 from Italy, Alberto Kiko Fracassi, and from the UK, Thomas Ingram Hill. From Australia, it's James Anagnostiidis and Danny Shields from the UAE rounding out the top 20. Completing the 36-strong grid is Sebastian Koch, Max Cuthbert, Nemanja Jovanovic, Dave Stevens, Isaac de Melwyk, Joshua Graham, Marlon Di Salvo, Luca Brima, Ollie Wise, Kieran Bartenstein, Carlis Kirikovs, Max Sidursky, Ruben Verheyen, Thijs van Wijk, Batuan Kumas and Mathis Soumetre. So their pre-final was 13 minutes plus an additional lap. This one is slightly longer, 15 minutes plus an additional lap. So in the pre-final, 8 front-fairing penalties were handed out, 2 time penalties for pushing, 2 penalties for using the runoff area after the opening lap, and 1 contact by, advantage by contact or causing a collision for 1 driver. And the fastest lap of that race last time out at an average speed of 87.634 kilometres per hour was by Boluet which was a 55.869 second lap time. So now it is going to be the case of who will be victorious in the final this afternoon. El Faghali on pole position, Van Dijk alongside. Out of the final corner, they split, go into the tram lines, revs rise. Are we ready? Are we steady? Lights are out, we are good and off and racing. El Faghali leads the field into turns 1 and 2. Radenkovic up into 2nd position. Mitchell van Dijk now finds himself probably in 3rd, maybe 4th, maybe 5th, by the end of maybe four corners. And that is the case because Thomas Behrman just got through on him and Mitchell van Dijk has just ended up inadvertently off the circuit. Going on to the approach into turn number 5, there's a little bit of side-by-side action up and down the order. Through into turn 6. As now Boluet's trying to get on with business at hand, and he's got through on Matej Radenkovic and gets up into 2nd. Thomas Behrman now looking up the inside, and he has a little bit of a touch on the right rear. The bumper caves in ever so slightly. Radenkovic runs a little bit wide and Behrman still gets through and takes P3. Radenkovic is going to lose another position. This time it will be to Timo Jungling from Dan Holland Racing. 2-3 wide at the back of the field, going through into the final corner, but El Faghali leads by over 0.4 of a second, and Timo Jungling's around at turn 2. Disaster for the driver from London, and they are still squabbling over real estate like no tomorrow. Mika van der Pavert is trying to get up a little bit further up the top 10, looks to have done so, as they all make their way through again through turn 6. Down the Europalan is where, and not just through the Europalan, through turn 6 and through turn 7. From turn 12 to turns 1 and 2, you're going to get great slipstream. So if you get the perfect exit out of the corner, you're going to do yourself every single favour in the world. El Faghali has got about a 3-kart length lead over Loet. Schorman's now up the inside of Radenkovic through into turn 12. And now it could nearly be 3 wide because at the moment Krit Knoren might be going alongside 2 other drivers. Well, nearly was the case, but Schorman's got a quartet of drivers behind him. Radenkovic, Hamilton, it might be, I think there's Krit Knoren, and there is Mika van der Pavert, who now is up into 8th position, started 9th. As the squabbling continues, Armand Hamilton gets through and Matej Radenkovic through turn number 6. And Krit Knoren was also looking for the window of opportunity, but it got closed quite quickly. Now another attempt by Krik Kroeren up the inside of Mateo Dankovic. Mika van der Pavert, younger brother of Ralph, who will be running in seniors on the next race, also trying to get through. There is also the number 204 of Lucas Els, and Switzerland's Tino Sidler now finds himself in the fray. Thomas Ingram Hill and Mitchell van Dijk. Van Dijk, who went off the track a little bit earlier on, now back, pointing in the right direction. As El Fagali having to fight, and Thomas Behrman has got through on the Lebanese driver for the race lead. As we are underway with lap number 4, it's getting a bit close for comfort. Lucas Els goes round the outside, and that would have been more than likely on Mateo Dankovic. Mateo Dankovic has been bumped into the air, and Krik Kroeren has had a double tap, and looks like Lucas Els is in a little bit of discomfort, is moving, and Marshall is on the scene. So Lucas Els having a massive drama there. Came into contact with Mateo Dankovic, and then Krik Kroeren, who went not just once but twice into the air. And we now have a full course caution. Full course caution has been implemented another time, so everyone has to slow down. No overtaking permitted. This is at the 11-minute marker. So driver at turn 6 now being attended to. Drivers have to slow to half speed. It is single file. So this is what we are going to see. We had a full course caution in the Minimax final, didn't we? And that lasted for a significant amount of time because there were multiple carts piled up. Turn 6 seems to be a touch point whereby, well, if one thing happens, you can be guaranteed that there will be a correlating domino effect as an immediate result. But the main thing is that from my position, I can see that Lucas Els is being attended to at the moment. So whilst Lucas Els is being attended to, it's a case of the field now bunching up. Whilst we have the full course caution around the circuit, the timer will count down as part of the regulations. So it neutralises the race, effectively being our safety car phase, if you will, with no... It's like a virtual safety car phase in Formula One. It has the same application. So the running order at the moment is as follows. Thomas Behrman leads from Christopher El Fagali. Casper Schormans in third. Bolowet, Armand Hamilton, Mika van der Pavert, Mitchell van Dijk, Dave Stevens, Tino Sidler, and Boris Maximov round out the top 10. Alberto Kiko Fracassi, Josh Graham, Tom Serler, Thomas Ingram Hill, Mateo Dankovic, Danny Shields, James Agnostiidis, Ollie Wise, Max Cuthbert, Isaac de Melweek round out the top 20. Kieran Bartenstein, Ruben Verheyen, Krik Kroeren, Thijs van Wijk, Luca Brima, Archie Buttle, Batuan Kumas, Kalis Kirikovs, Ryan Bulkwinon, Emmanuel Jovanovic, Max Sederski, Marlon Di Salvo, Mathis Ometre, Timo Jungling and Sebastian Koch. Those are the 35 drivers still circulating. And we have had a red flag stoppage, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a red flag stoppage at 7 minutes and 47 seconds remaining on the timer in the Junior Rotax final. So we make a resumption of the Junior Rotax final. The clock was stopped at 7 minutes and 47 seconds plus an additional lap due to an incident at turn 6 involving Lucas Sells, who has been attended to by the medical staff on circuit. And we do have one driver that has been trying to fire up the kart. That is the 256. And that is Ollie Wise from KR Sport. And unfortunately, the young man from the United Kingdom will not be taking any further part. A real shame for him. First venture to the circuit back in 2018 in Micromax, what was back then known as the BNL Rotax Golden Trophy. A real shame for Ollie Wise. And he was due to start in 18th position. So the drivers will go under a full slow lap, and more dramas. And what's more, that is the race leader. Thomas Behrman has just stopped 3/4 of the way down the Europalan. So 2 of the KR Sport karts out before we've even got things back underway. So it will be a restart on this particular occasion, as Thomas Behrman's kart is pulled out of harm's way and the driver is going to have to sit by the sidelines. But the green flag is being prepared. Christopher El Fagali is leading the field out of the final corner. This time they start to accelerate. Green flag, and we are back underway. Now they filter their way through into turns 1 and 2. So it's El Fagali, Shawmans, Loet, Hamilton, and there's more dramas a little bit further behind, involving, looks to be Alberto Kiko Fracassi. So the drivers making their way through turn 6 on the restart. A bit of side-by-side action, 3 wide, and that was between the likes of Timo Jungling, as now Shawmans is battling away with Boulouet, who's trying to get through on the 240 for second position. El Fagali has pulled a slight advantage, as we are now at the 7-minute mark plus an additional lap. It's getting a bit fraught towards the bottom part of the top 10. And now Mika van der Pavert up the inside of Armand Hamilton through the 12th and final corner, and also trying to go through is Taze Stevens. Now Taze Stevens made his way through the second chance heat to get to this point. So did Mika van der Pavert, who also won the second chance heat. So those 2 drivers were uncustomarily out of the ranking after heats, down outside of the top 30. Oh no, there's dramas for Kasper Schaumann, whose steering has just been broken by an incident with Boulouet, who moved towards the inside at turn 6. Frustration and anger on the body language of Kasper Schaumann right there. And Christopher El Fagali now gets a little bit more breathing space, because that is Mika van der Pavert that's in second position. How's about that for a comeback story this weekend? And, oh no, another driver out of the race. And that was, just trying to look at who that was. It might have been, not too sure if it might have been Marlon de Salvo, I'm not 100% sure. Oh no, that was Batuan Kumas that was out, the 261. Boulouet finds himself way down the order. Boris Maximov to his left, as now Taze Stevens looks to get through, as Boulouet just decided to launch it around the outside going through the turn 7 chicane. So this is where things do get a bit more, frantic. We've got 3 minutes to go, and there are risks being taken that might be, in many people's eyes, deemed as unnecessary. And now we do have a change for the lead, because Mika van der Pavert has got past Christopher El Fagali. Armand Hamilton in third. Tino Sidler in fourth. More overtakes happening as Krik Knorren, has got past Thomas Ingram Hill for position. That's for 13th. There was the 2:11 Kieran Bartenstein on Isaac de Melwyk from Australia. That was also for position. And everyone's just battling all over the place, up and down around this circuit. And it's getting a bit close for comfort. Krit Knorren nearly had Kieran Bartenstein up the inside. Isaac de Melwyk trying to do a very, very good job. Currently sitting in around 16th position. His countryman James Anaxiadis currently sitting in 22nd. 2 minutes still to go. There's still positions to be changed. Josh Graham is getting on with it. He's made up at least a position or two over the last couple of laps. And Josh Graham now 1 place away from the top 10. Bearing in mind this is his first European Rotax event. He's raced in other categories over in Europe. He's got Krit Knorren right up the inside. But the Brit from Argenti Motorsport trying to keep it pinned around the outside. Has to let Krit Knorren go. Kieran Bartenstein is behind. So is Ruben Verheyen. As we've got 90 seconds on the clock still to go. Mika van der Pavert has checked out. And that is Josh Graham that's had to use the escape road off of turn number 7. I think he just went straight on. Probably tried to turn in, thought, well, I'm not going to chance it because he might have got into somebody else. El Faghali's having to fight. He's got everyone, he's getting pinned at the moment as El Faghali nearly trades sidewalls. And now Radenkovic makes it 3 wide. Faghali round the outside of everything that's happening. And now Radenkovic up into 2nd. Hamilton up into 3rd. El Faghali now down into 4th. Tay Stevens. Mitchell van Dijk. Alberto Kiko Fracassi gets past Bolowet, who's now side-by-side with Tino Sidler. And there's more side-by-side action going into turn 7. And there's 2 off. One of which is Armand Hamilton. The other one is the 2. That's 2-2-3. That was El Faghali. Well, turn 7 has really become a danger point on the circuit at the moment with the way that these drivers are threading the eye of the needle. Hasn't been an easy one, but look at what that's done. Mika van der Pavert has come back from the 2nd chance heat this morning, and he's got a comfortable lead. Actually, a humongous one. It's 3.2 seconds as Mitchell van Dijk now takes 2nd from Tay Stevens, who goes on the counter-offensive. Time has hit 0. More chopping and changing up and down the order. Alberto Kiko Fracassi, where is he in all of this? He's currently, I think, probably P5 behind Matej Radenkovic. So 1 more lap to go after this. And some of the biggest contenders in the fight for the final to this weekend have come, have been. It's been another race of somewhat selected attrition. But the final lap board is going to be shown to SP Motorsports. Mika van der Pavert, who, as I said earlier, qualified for the top 36 through the 2nd chance heat. He finished 9th in the pre-final. After what happened there. And he's about 900 metres away. There's more dramas. That's for one of the DHR carts. That's the number 2. That's probably the 238. That's Latvia's Tom Streller. And he was running out in the top 15. And now the battle for P2 really has heated up. Radenkovic is there in 4th. Van Dijk, Stevens, Loat, Fracassi. The names go on and on and on. Sidler is there. But Mika van der Pavert is going to have one of the biggest tales, if he ever becomes a granddad, to tell those grandkids exactly what happened on this day. Because out of the final corner, he didn't make it through to the top 30. But what a comeback story from Mika van der Pavert, winning the 2nd chance heat and now capping it off with a final victory to end round 1 in the best way possible by 4 seconds at the checkered flag. Dave Stevens makes it, well, it's a Dutch 1-2-3. Mitchell Van Dijk third, Tay Stevens in second, Mateo Radenkovic and Bravo Alberto Kiko Fracassi taking fifth at the flag. Crick Knorren, Bo Louet, Tino Sidler, Thomas Ingram Hill, Kieran Bartenstein, Armand Hamilton, Ruben Verheyen, Boz Maximov, Ryan Bourguignon and Thijs van Wijk ran out the top 15. Luca Brima, Christopher El Fagali, Archie Buttle, Max Cuthbert and Tom Swerler round out the top 20. Mathis Ometre, Timo Jungling, James Anagnostiidis, Marlon Di Salvo and Isaac de Melweek sees two Australians in the top 25 with a class field on the circuit. Carlos Kirikovs, Max Sidursky, Joshua Graham and Sebastian Kosh rounding out the 29 that finished all 16 laps. Nemanja Jovanovic, one lap down. Retirement from Kasper Schumans and Batuan Kumas on the same lap number 9. Both Thomas Behrman and Danny Shields and Ollie Wise would not make it past either lap 6 or 7. And the incident on lap 3 eliminated Lucas Sells, who has been attended to by the medical team a little bit earlier on when we had the red flag stoppage.